You take your pregnant wife to the emergency room. It is late at night, you are exhausted, and the hospital administration staff is rushing you through paperwork. They tell you not to worry about the massive medical bill because the hospital will just sign her up for a state-funded health program. You sign the digital pad, you hold your new baby, and you think everything is completely fine. 14 months later, your green card renewal is denied. You receive a letter in the mail stating that your legal status is in jeopardy because that single, innocent hospital visit quietly triggered a federal public charge investigation against you. The system labeled you a financial burden to the United States, and now your entire family's American dream is collapsing. Welcome to Lawful Immigrant Shield. We protect U.S. green card holders, naturalized citizens, and visa holders from the hidden immigration and financial traps that can destroy your legal status. Before we go deep into today's survival guide, I must make one critical point. While the federal tracking systems, border search directives, and recent 2025 healthcare law changes we will discuss today are thoroughly documented, you must independently verify your specific immigration situation with a qualified attorney. But you need to understand the mechanism of this trap. Because the way the United States government tracks your health care is exactly the same way they track your taxes, your travel, and your digital life. Millions of lawful immigrants believe that hospitals and immigration enforcement are completely separate worlds. They think that medical privacy laws protect them. That is a dangerous, devastating illusion. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how the United States government tracks your medical history. I'm going to explain the specific healthcare benefits that were legally stripped away from immigrants under the recent 2025 laws. I will show you how a simple mistake at the airport can expose your private medical debts to customs and border protection. And most importantly, I'm going to give you a step-by-step defense strategy to safely navigate the U.S. healthcare system without ever risking your deportation. This is the most important video you will watch this year. Do not skip a single minute. Let us begin. Let me start with a terrifying reality about the year 2026. The United States government is more interconnected today than at any point in human history. The system does not operate in isolated silos anymore. To understand how a hospital visit can destroy your green card, you first have to understand the pipeline. We've already seen this exact pipeline weaponized with your financial and tax data. On April 7, 2025, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem signed a formal data-sharing agreement between the Internal Revenue Service and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Under this agreement, ICE submitted 1.28 million names of suspected undocumented immigrants to the IRS. The IRS then cross-referenced those names against its taxpayer database, verified 47,289 of those individuals, and sent their addresses, employment data, and personal information directly back to ICE. Let me say that again so it sinks in. Over 47,000 people had their private tax data handed directly over to immigration enforcement. You file your taxes, which the government tells you to do, and that very same document is used to locate you and hand you over to ICE. The exact same investigative mindset is applied to your health care. When you or your family members use certain state-funded health programs, subsidized housing, or cash assistance, that data does not just stay in a local hospital database. It enters a massive bureaucratic web. When you file for your green card, or when you file your I-90 to renew it, the government actively looks for evidence that you are or are likely to become a public charge. They are looking for inconsistencies. They want to know if you can financially support yourself. And in 2026, the government has built the infrastructure to find out if you are receiving benefits you are not legally entitled to. You might be thinking, but I pay my taxes, I work hard, I am allowed to use health care. Listen to me very carefully. The rules changed drastically, and almost nobody told the immigrant community. On July 4th, 2025, a new law was signed called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This law did something that has never been done before in American history. It systematically removed vital healthcare eligibility from lawfully present immigrants. NPR reported that an estimated 100,000 lawfully present immigrants, including TPS holders, refugees, asylum seekers, and certain visa holders, will be formally disenrolled from Medicare by January 4, 2027. But it did not stop at Medicare. This exact same law aggressively targeted the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Under the new regulations, premium tax credits for health insurance under the ACA are now completely denied to asylum seekers, TPS holders, DACA recipients, and anyone with deferred action. I want you to think about what this actually means for a middle-income immigrant family. If your family member has TPS, or if they are a DACA recipient, they have been pushed completely out of the subsidized healthcare system. The law literally gives with one hand and takes with the other, creating a parallel, harsher code for immigrants. Here is the trap. The hospital administrators do not always know these immigration laws. A well-meaning social worker in an emergency room sees that you are struggling with a $15,000 medical bill. They hand you a form. They say, "Just sign this. We will get you on state assistance. It will cover everything." You sign it because you are terrified of the debt. But if you are in one of the restricted categories, or if you apply for a federally funded program that categorizes you as a public charge, you have just laid a trap for your own future. The hospital gets paid, but 2 years later, USCIS reviews your file. They see that you received federally subsidized health care that you were either ineligible for or that officially designates you as dependent on the government. In an instant, your renewal is flagged. Your path to citizenship is destroyed. Let me give you a real, documented example of how innocent administrative errors regarding government benefits can destroy a life. Consider the story of Rosa Maria Carranza. In April 2026, this 67-year-old Salvadoran woman living in Oakland, California, opened her mailbox. Inside was a letter from the Social Security Administration. She'd been receiving her earned retirement checks every single month after 24 years of paying into the system. But the letter stated her benefits were terminated because she was allegedly no longer lawfully present in the United States. Except she was lawful. She had temporary protected status, a work permit, and a valid Social Security card. But because of a database error claiming her status had lapsed, her payments stopped immediately. Her rent bounced, and she was forced to spend a month babysitting her landlord's children just to cover her housing. It took a congressman's office 5 months to fix the error. That is what happens when a government database makes a mistake. Now imagine what happens when the database is actually correct, and it shows that you willingly signed up for a restricted health program. Under Section 2022Y of the Social Security Act, no monthly benefit is payable to any alien in the United States for any month during which they are not lawfully present. If your green card is canceled or your renewal is denied because of a public charge hospital mistake, you do not just lose your immigration status, you lose your financial survival. You could lose the Social Security retirement money you worked 10, 15, or 20 years to earn. If you are deported and hit with a 10-year bar, you could lose upwards of $228,000 in earned benefits, all because you signed a hospital form you did not understand. Now we move to the most terrifying part of this entire system. How does an immigration officer actively catch you in a lie about your finances or your health care? They do not need to wait for a tax document. They just look at your phone. Imagine this scenario. Your pregnant wife had that emergency room visit. The bills were massive. You negotiated a cash payment plan with the hospital to avoid applying for state benefits because you wanted to protect your green card. 6 months later, you travel outside the United States to visit your aging parents. When you return to JFK Airport in New York, you are exhausted from a 14-hour flight. You step up to the CBP officer's booth. The officer asks you standard questions, but then he looks at you and says, "Please unlock your phone and hand it to me." You panic. You type your passcode and you hand it over. In those 3 seconds, you made a fatal mistake. Because you did not turn off your internet connection, the officer now has a live window into your entire digital life. According to the official CBP Directive 3340-049A, officers are legally prohibited from intentionally accessing data stored remotely in the cloud. They are only allowed to search data physically on the device. But if your phone is connected to the airport Wi-Fi, it automatically pulls data from the cloud. The officer opens your WhatsApp. They search the word hospital or money, and they find a message you sent to your uncle 3 months ago. The message says, "Uncle, the hospital bills are too high. I do not have the money to pay them. I think I have to file for bankruptcy or go on food stamps." Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, that single WhatsApp message is legal evidence of your financial status. The officer is not just looking for criminals. They are looking for intent to violate your immigration status or evidence that you cannot support yourself. If you are on a temporary visa, your visa can be canceled on the spot. You can be issued an expedited removal order, and you can be banned for 5 years. And what if you have a green card? If you are a lawful permanent resident, they cannot legally deny you entry simply for refusing to provide a phone password. That is your right. However, if you refuse to unlock your device, CBP can seize your phone, give you a receipt, let you enter the country, and send your phone to a forensic lab where it could be cracked and copied. They will find the hospital debt. They will find the messages. Every message, every photo, every note on that phone is the most powerful witness against you. Do not treat your phone like a private diary. Let us go even deeper. Let us say you avoid the state benefits. You decide to pay the hospital bills in cash. You withdraw money from your bank account to pay the medical collections agency directly. You think you are being safe, but you just walked into another massive federal trap. In 2026, the United States government monitors your cash through an aggressive algorithmic system. Under the Bank Secrecy Act, any cash transaction over $10,000 is automatically reported to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, through a currency transaction report. So, to be careful, you decide to withdraw $3,200 on Tuesday, $2,800 on Thursday, and $3,000 on Saturday to pay the hospital. It is your own savings account. It is all your own legal money. You just committed the federal crime of structuring. Under Title 31 of the United States Code, Section 5324, it is a federal crime to break a large transaction into smaller ones to evade reporting requirements. The penalty is up to 5 years in federal prison and massive fines. Even if you are not charged with a crime, the bank's internal algorithm will spot your multiple cash withdrawals. The bank will secretly file a Suspicious Activity Report, or a SAR, directly to the Department of Homeland Security. Under federal law, the bank is strictly prohibited from telling you that this report was filed. Within 72 hours, your financial profile is sitting in a FinCEN database. And because of that IRS-ICE data sharing pipeline we talked about earlier, Homeland Security investigations can easily access your records. A few weeks later, 2 ICE agents knock on your door. They are holding a folder containing your bank statements and your tax returns. They want to know where the cash went. If you are an immigrant in America, there is no such thing as an invisible financial transaction. Whether you are sending $2,000 home to your mother through Western Union which automatically triggers a SAR alert under the new FinCEN rules for cross-border transfers, or withdrawing cash to pay a hospital. You are being watched by the algorithm. I'm not telling you all of this to scare you. I'm telling you this because the system relies on your ignorance, and I want to arm you with knowledge. You came to this country, you worked hard, you paid your taxes, and you followed the rules. You deserve to protect your family's health without sacrificing your legal status. Here is your 5-step Lawful Immigrant Shield protection plan. Write this down, memorize it, share it with your spouse. Step 1. Separate emergency care from federal benefits. If you or your wife goes to the emergency room, the hospital is legally required to treat you regardless of your immigration status. Getting emergency medical treatment is not a crime, and it does not make you a public charge. The trap is how you pay for it. When the hospital hands you paperwork to sign up for financial assistance, read every single word. Ask the social worker explicitly, is this a federal or state-funded public benefit program that could impact my immigration status? If you are in a restricted category, like a TPS holder or DACA recipient who was recently stripped of ACA premium tax credits, do not blindly accept state money. Set up a transparent electronic payment plan directly with the hospital. Step 2. Eliminate cash from your life. If you are paying off a hospital bill, an immigration lawyer, or any large expense, never use cash. Pay with an electronic bank transfer, a check, or Zelle. Electronic transfers do not trigger currency transaction reports. A $10,000 Zelle payment generates 0 federal reports, while a $10,000 cash withdrawal generates a CTR automatically. Be completely transparent. Take the money straight from your bank to the hospital electronically. Do not give the FinCEN algorithm a reason to flag you for structuring. Step 3. The 3-second airport shield. If you travel internationally and a CBP officer at the airport asks you to unlock your phone, do not argue about the Fourth Amendment. The border search exception gives them broad authority. Instead, take 3 seconds to swipe down on your screen, turn on airplane mode, and disable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Restrict their search exclusively to what is locally stored on your phone, exactly as CBP Directive 3340-049A outlines. Do not let an officer accidentally download 5 years of remote iCloud backups or WhatsApp messages regarding your financial struggles or medical debts. Step 4. Never sign Form I-407 under pressure. If a CBP officer sees evidence of a public charge issue or believes you have abandoned your U.S. residency, they will take you into secondary inspection. They might slide a piece of paper across the desk and ask you to sign it. That paper is Form I-407. If they ask you to sign a form saying you voluntarily abandon your green card, do not sign it. Say these exact words: I do not wish to abandon my residence. I would like to contact an immigration attorney before I sign any documents. If they threaten to confiscate your card, use the nuclear option. Say, I request a hearing before an immigration judge to contest this decision. Under Section 240 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, they cannot deport you without giving you a hearing. Your green card gives you that protection. Step 5. The ultimate firewall, which is naturalization. The single most powerful protection for your benefits, your healthcare, and your future is American citizenship. U.S. citizens are not subject to the public charge rules. U.S. citizens are not subject to the 6-month travel rule that suspends Social Security. U.S. citizens cannot be deported. If you have been a green card holder for 5 years, if you meet the English and civics requirements, and if you have no criminal issues, filing Form N-400 is the best investment you can make. Your Social Security becomes permanent and untouchable. The system does not care about your intentions, it only sees data. The hospital computer talks to the state database. The state database talks to USCIS. Your bank talks to FinCEN, and FinCEN talks to ICE. I made this video because I am tired of seeing good, hard-working people lose their green cards and their life savings over administrative mistakes that could have easily been avoided. I am tired of seeing families separated because someone panicked at the airport or signed a hospital form they could not read in English. You deserve to know what is happening in this country. You deserve to protect your family's health and your American dream simultaneously. Here is what I need you to do right now. First, share this video. Send it to your family WhatsApp groups. Send it to that uncle who just got his green card. Send it to the cousin who is expecting a baby and navigating the healthcare system for the first time. There is someone in your community who is about to walk into an emergency room or board an international flight who has absolutely no idea that these traps exist. This information could literally save their legal status. Second, hit the subscribe button to Lawful Immigrant Shield and turn on the bell notification. Every single week, I am breaking down these federal traps with forensic detail. I am reading the agency directives, the FinCEN alerts, and the federal laws so that you do not have to. And finally, leave a comment below. Tell me your situation. Are you a green card holder worried about state benefits? Have you had your phone searched at the airport? I read every single comment, and I will personally respond and help guide you. Knowledge is the only thing that levels the playing field against a system designed to confuse you. Knowing your rights does not make you a troublemaker. It does not make you a criminal. It makes you smart. Stay informed. Stay protected, and I will see you in the next one.